The most overrated romance series. Now, this is the thing I see a lot around the community, not just Twitter. I hear from friends, I hear from other people. I hear this statement quite a lot, and I feel like I want to quite address it because, again, at the end of the day, if this is your opinion, I'm not here to go fight your opinion. This is me sharing my thoughts on it and why I disagree. So where I want to start with is, for a series to be called overrated, you obviously have to assume that it's put on a pedestal higher than most that you think it doesn't deserve, that it's overpraised, that you think other series are better, that deserve more higher rating from these people or more praise, etc., etc., right? There's a lot of nuances to what people call overrated. That's not what I'm here to discuss. I'm here to discuss why I feel like a lot of people don't appreciate Kaguya-sama for what it is until, and this is why I feel like a lot of people who love Kaguya-sama have been down the same road as me. And there's some people who are the opposite as well. This is one of their first romance series and they're able to appreciate it as well. But I feel like for the most part, the reason why Kaguya-sama is so beloved and so respected in the community overall is because of the fact that I don't feel like, it truly feels like the series respects itself. Now, I know that's like a weird statement to say, but hear me out. A lot of these series really lose themselves by the middle or end point or wherever it's heading. Like, it just goes off the rails, turns into something that you originally didn't get to the series for. It just becomes like this convoluted mess. And I get it. Someone would argue, hey, but that's what love is. It's a mess, right? But I think there's a good way to handle mess even. And I think that is Kaguya-sama, right? You have these mixed emotions. You have people who can't confront their relationships and their problems and their psychological issues that are going on, and it fully brings it and focuses on each character in its own way. Not just forget a character, complete write them out of the story, just toss them to the side. None of that happens in Kaguya-sama. At the very least, it brings it all full circle. Now, there's gonna be slight spoilers here and there if you're anime only, so you're gonna have to be patient with me. If not, then do what you gotta do. So starting out, I want to talk about is like its concept. It's very, very different from your typical romance, right? The typical romance, it's very traditional, straight to the point. There's things going on with like, oh, there's a third wheel, and this person jealous of this person doesn't know who to pick, and it drags on the plot of them confronting their feelings. You know, that's how high school goes. They don't know what to say. They're very illogical in what they do. Very bad moves here and there. They can't communicate, blah, 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 blah. The story goes on. We've seen those anime 100 times. And that is why I'm tired of them. I'm tired of those type of series. But Kaguya-sama is a breath of fresh air for like, you romance veterans, you know. Even you've seen 60 to 80 plus romance series in this genre. You understand that Kaguya-sama does something similar in the Gintama way, where it makes you spend a lot of time with these characters, goofing off, slice of life moments, getting to know them, playing around. And then when it's time for the serious arcs, what I like to call them, the arcs where we actually focus on the character themselves. You know, the first one being animated, being the Ishigami one, with his whole backstory and why like people around the school avoided him and all that. Amazing. But what's beautiful about it is that's only the first of very many. It's only just the beginning for you anime onlys. We focus on Kaguya, Miyuki, like hell, I think there's like a small Chika or very, very small Chika, and even characters, like, hear me out. At first, I wasn't a fan, right? I wasn't a fan of Miko. I didn't really like her whole school obsession, but then they freaking address that shit and make that a whole arc and focuses on why that's an obsession and how that ties back to Ishigami. Like, there's so many nuances, and like the whole thing with Ishigami and Tsubame, I believe, if I butcher some of these names, we even had an arc on Hayasaka. Like, there's like every character gets fleshed out. It becomes this ensemble cast that get their own spotlight, and everybody gets their shine in their own way, no matter what. And when they finally address the romance, I dare say it has some of, like, people act like there's like no progression, little to no progression, and that's why they don't like it. But I would argue it has, if not the most progression, and in the ways that you would never like imagine the series to go. Like, you think from watching the anime this is all it's ever gonna be, but I would argue it becomes so much more. And if you caught up to the manga for Kaguya-sama, you know it becomes so much more. not only goes further than most of these typical series, it goes way beyond that, and becomes more nuanced than that. And it doesn't just do it in a suddenly rushed way, like, oh, this has happened, like this, nothing was progressive for 50 chapters. No, those 50 chapters where it feels like nothing much is happening when they're goof, it's all leading up to it. There's these small events, these subtle events that take place that build up to that these major arcs taking place for these character arcs, right? Let's take an example. Now, let's say there's like a very romantic scene that comes into place for Kaguya and Miyuki, which is gonna happen in season 3. That wasn't just out of nowhere. Things built up to that moment. Like, characters had to confront the fact that, like, hey, maybe there is something here and I need to just stop dodging it, right? These things, and that basically what was happening. There's like these 3 major moments that end up happening in the series in terms of Miyuki and Kaguya that really pushed the story forward, and it completely changes. Like, there's like these phases in Kaguya-sama where once those things take place, it's never the same again, in a way that, like, things are different. I'm trying to avoid spoilers as much as possible, and that's what I'm trying to say is that Kaguya-sama is a series that if it's one of your first series and you don't really enjoy it, and I'm not saying at the end of the day, if even by my explanation you still don't end up liking, that's perfectly fine. It is what it is, right? But I feel like Kaguya-sama, and I've tried this with some certain people, is right, they didn't think too much of it, they enjoyed Kaguya-sama, and then I'm like, okay, I want you to do something for me. Stack up Kaguya-sama compared to all the romance series you've seen, and how you truly feel about it when you compare it, like if you've read the manga at the very least, and how it stacks up. And most of them will be coming out with a more positive outlook on Kaguya-sama. It doesn't have to be their top 10, top 5, top 1, whatever the hell the case is. I just want them to reassess, look at the series by comparison to other romance series, and you're like, oh my god, the quality is on another level. And that is why I feel like Kaguya-sama is such a beloved, put on such a high pedestal romance series. If you go on any list, it's the #1 rated romance series, if I remember correctly. It is my top 1. It is my top 5 manga of all time and top 1 romance series. It does things in a way that I've never seen any manga do. It's unique. It does things in a different way. It tackles psychological issues that come with all this high school life and like romantic feelings, and it doesn't just like seclude characters. Everybody gets equal shine in this series, and that's why I disagree with the statement that Kaguya-sama is an overrated romance series. With that being said, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out.